In a peaceful town, a newly married couple moved into a beautiful new house. They were excited about their future. It was a fresh beginning, filled with dreams, hope, and new possibilities. Their home was comfortable and bright. Every morning, sunlight entered through the large windows. Directly across the street stood another house where a woman lived with her family. Every day she washed clothes and hung them outside to dry. One morning, while the couple was having breakfast, the wife looked out of the window. She noticed the neighbor hanging freshly washed clothes. After watching for a few moments, she frowned. "That's strange," she said. "It looks like she doesn't know how to wash clothes properly. Look at those clothes. They still seem dirty." Then she laughed. Her husband heard her comment, but he said nothing. Days passed, and every few days, whenever the neighbor hung clothes outside, the wife repeated the same criticism. "Those clothes still look dirty. She really needs to learn how to clean properly. I don't think she understands basic cleanliness." Each time, her husband simply listened quietly. He never argued. He never corrected her. He simply smiled and remained silent. Weeks turned into a month. Yet her opinion never changed. She remained convinced that the neighbor was careless and untidy. Then one morning, something unexpected happened. The wife looked out of the window as usual, but this time she was surprised. The clothes looked perfectly clean, bright, fresh, spotless. Excitedly, she turned toward her husband and said, "Wow, it looks like she finally learned how to wash clothes properly. I wonder who taught her." Her husband smiled, then calmly replied, "Maybe nobody did." The wife looked confused. "What do you mean?" The husband answered, "I woke up early this morning, and I cleaned our window." For a few seconds she said nothing. Then she looked back at the window, and suddenly everything made sense. The problem had never been the neighbor's clothes. The problem was the dirt on her own window. For an entire month she had been judging someone unfairly, not because that person was wrong, but because her view was unclear. And that is where the real lesson of this story begins. In life, many of us do exactly the same thing. We judge people, we criticize them, we focus on their mistakes, we notice their weaknesses, but rarely do we stop and ask ourselves, am I seeing the complete picture? Is my perspective clear? Could my judgment be wrong? Because often the problem is not with other people. The problem is with the lens through which we see them. Imagine someone doesn't talk to you. You assume they are arrogant, but maybe they're struggling with something difficult. Someone refuses to help you. You assume they're selfish, but maybe they're fighting a battle you know nothing about. We often judge entire people based on limited information, and that leads to misunderstanding. A dirty window can never show a clear view of the world. In the same way, a negative mindset can never show us the best in people. If anger fills our hearts, we see enemies everywhere. If jealousy controls us, every successful person seems fake. If fear dominates us, every opportunity looks dangerous. But when our thinking becomes clear, the world begins to look different. That is why two people can face the exact same situation and see completely different things. One sees a problem, the other sees an opportunity. One hears criticism, the other finds a lesson. One gives up, the other keeps moving forward. The difference is not the situation, the difference is perspective. That day, the woman learned a lesson she would never forget. Before trying to change others, learn to examine yourself. Before criticizing others, improve your own mindset. Before judging others, clean your own window. Because when people start working on themselves, they often discover that the world is much better than they once believed. Remember, the world is not always what it is. The world is often what we think it is. So the next time you notice a fault in someone else, pause for a moment and ask yourself, is the problem really with them, or is my window still dirty?